white community and at the detriment to America as a whole. So I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. We're going to talk to you guys about Candace Owens' crazy rant about George Floyd and how she can't back him. Alright, if you're new to the channel, do me a favour, do yourself a favour, make sure you like, share, subscribe, then click on that bell button, that ping, and then make sure you get the uploads of my notifications, baby, alright? And for those of you who are returning, so you already know the motto, okay? You know the motto, okay? You got the minerals. It bangs when you catch the note, just like da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, listen, let's get into the video. So Candace Owens, you know what? As soon as I began to hear her reason as to why she doesn't support George Floyd, I already knew, one, this was, do you know what I call this? A whitewashing. I call this a political activist. And the reason why I say that is because people who are aspiring to be political leaders do stuff like this, yeah? Showing a lack of empathy. There was no need for her to speak on this issue, okay? Because it was distasteful, and the timing was horrible. It was a look at me kind of vibe, and just because it's wrapped in a shroud of professionalism in the way that she speaks doesn't make the thing right, okay? So let's just talk about some of the things that she said. Let's break it down. So I think the very early thing she said was that we are being sold a lot of lies to detriment to the Black and white community.
The detriment to the Black community, at the detriment to the white community, and at the detriment to America as a whole.
First of all, there's trouble already. Where's the detriment to white community? The detriment is the Black community. We're the ones getting killed. We're the ones getting shot. We're the ones that get unlawfully hurt, okay? So where is the detriment to the white community when it is a white officer shooting me? Where is the detriment when the officer doesn't get reprimanded? In this case, due to the fact that we rioted and due to the fact that we looted, and I even say we, I didn't even do it, but due to the fact that we did these things, that's what caused the government and the police force to take notice, yeah? Now, I have my own synergy or my own thoughts around this, and the fact that when the Spirit of God comes at a certain time and season and he allows certain things to happen, things like this where they're bad can be turned for the good of the people, okay? And so I believe this is a time of season of justice, okay? Where we're seeing things being done that ordinarily would be swept underneath the carpet, okay? Is it coincidental this is close to a political year? No, because every 4 years is a political year, and we are in, we're like a few months away from that. Right? It's September. We're nowhere near that. We're in May. You know what I'm saying? We're going in June now. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, but that's another story in itself. The second point she kind of made was that I do not support the martyrdom and the media depiction of him. Well, you don't need to. What you need to do is shut your mouth and understand that somebody has died and have respect. You understand? Somebody has died unlawfully. Yeah? I don't respect this type of behavior where someone can see someone in that, and when I say innocent, in the sense of the fact that he may have committed crimes in the past, but we don't get to dictate how that guy is made extinct. Do you understand? Like, there was no need, because there supposedly was a $20 bill that was counterfeit. Supposedly, all right? She talked about the fact that there was drugs in the system, supposedly at the moment. And even if there was drugs in the system, that is no need, that is no reason for somebody to kneel on someone's neck for 8 minutes. You understand? Not only him, but the 3 other officers. For 8 minutes. Once a person said, I cannot breathe, the police officer should have been smart enough to say, hey, I'm not going to do that. I watched another video where the police officer, there was 2 of them, arrested a guy, and the knee was on the neck of a white person. When the white person began shouting, hey, he can't breathe, they took the knee off. So don't tell me, okay, don't tell me that, that the media's martyred him. Listen, we know he's not a perfect individual human being. I'm not a perfect individual human being. And the only difference between a lot of people, a lot of black people, is the fact that we ain't been caught, baby. Don't even try it, baby. I mean, Kobe, for instance, got accused of rape. Now, had he been convicted, would you be talking about him so fondly?
I'll keep a photo of Kobe Bryant. You can keep one of George Floyd and pretend he was an upstanding human being that just once or twice put a gun across a pregnant woman's belly. Could you imagine that woman right now?
Because you were talking about how fond you are of Kobe. Had Kobe been convicted on the fact that he was accused of rape, would you be standing there talking about Kobe? Let's say he was innocent and he got convicted. Would you be talking about Kobe? You understand? Don't open your mouth recklessly because you want to be a political activist. Because let me tell you something about life, yeah? It goes around. It goes around, comes around, goes around, comes around. Say back around, baby, yeah. That's Justin Timberlake. Listen, so don't do that. Especially as a black female. Listen, don't think that because you are an educated black female and you got to where you are, that they ain't going to play the game with you. Darling, petty girl, let me tell you something. At the totem pole, white male, white female, black male, black female. Am I cussing the black females? No, I'm saying that how they look at us, okay, and how we are function in a role where there's white privilege.
Comments, oh, just black people gotta riot, black people gotta be black people, you know how they are. Oh, just black people being ignorant. That is the perception. When people get to be anonymous and talk about us, that's what they think about us.
Don't think when you get to the top they're gonna treat you different because you're a little bit educated. Don't let it get to you like that. Don't let the air get to your brain like that, because that's ridiculous to make some of the statements that you're making about somebody who's died at the hands of somebody else. You understand? And what George Floyd is, he is a representation of what other black males have suffered. So even if it's not George Floyd, why don't you talk about Ahmaud Arbery? Why don't you talk about Ahmaud Arbery? Because it was months before that, it was Ahmaud Arbery. So why don't you talk about him? You couldn't talk about him, could you? Because that narrative that you're trying to feed about the fact that we're making martyrdom of gangsters couldn't work with Ahmaud Arbery, could it? So that's not the case, is it? The case of the fact is they're killing innocent black people, right? So regardless of the rap sheet, and not only does that, she even mentioned herself, the fact that he had been clean for the past 5 years. He hadn't been convicted of anything. So a man decides, maybe let's say this is the time he's going to turn his life around, and you think it's okay, because you've made it okay, by you giving it a reason as to think that why he shouldn't be, I don't want to say he's a martyr, or, you know, I don't want to big him up. By you saying those things, what you're trying to say is that, and you gave a reason as to why that this guy is a bad influence and a bad person, it's because of his rap sheet. And I'm saying to you, so is that the reason why he should be killed? Is that the reason why someone's niche on his neck? When Dylan Roof was out here killing people in the police, killing people in the church, where was you? Where was you talking about that situation when he killed 8 or 9 people, black people in the church, and he didn't get dragged out, he got taken to Burger King after? Tell me something about that. When you can tell me something about that, then I can hear you talk. Until then, don't open your mouth to talk recklessly, love. You understand? Because we're not about it. You understand? This is the year of dragging. I always tell people, listen, if you say something stupid, insensitive, unempathetic, unsympathetic, you can get dragged. Whether you black, white, Asian, Mexican, everybody can get dragged. This is the year where everyone can see everything you're saying, and they're going to weigh you upon what you're saying. So be careful what words you say. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, right?
We are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now, let me explain what that means.
Do you hear yourself? Demanding justice. Let's say, for instance, you have one white killer, one black killer, and the police force decide to shoot the black man, but take in the white man. Of course we need justice. Think about what's happening. Don't be stupid. Come on. Don't be ignorant like that, man. Don't do them things. You understand? Don't play on that. Do you understand? Like, don't do that. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, you're doing too much for politicalism. You're doing too much for the political vote here. You're doing too much. And I guess maybe you're trying to pander to a certain audience. Because it won't be the black audience that are backing this particular rhetoric. We're not backing this rhetoric. Do you understand? Like, we're not fighting for this rhetoric. Because at the end of the day, it could be me. At the end of the day, I don't need to have a rap sheet like George Floyd for it to be me. Many people who are black have experienced at the hand of police, whether it was police brutality or whether it was police racial profiling. We've experienced some type of microaggression, whether it be micro or macroaggression, in regards to authority. So don't tell me that, you know, he's got a rap sheet, that's the reason why you're saying what you're saying, and the fact that we are celebrating somebody who was a hardened criminal in a sense.
Deserves justice for the way that he died, but I also am not going to accept the narrative that this is the best the black community has to offer. For whatever reason, it has become fashionable over the last 5 or 6 years for us to turn criminals into heroes.
She says obviously she's refusing to accept that this is the best that the blacks have to offer. What is to offer? Somebody died. Like, we're not trying. Listen. I think she thinks we're doing a political debate here where we're offering somebody on the stage. Somebody died. We don't want to offer George Floyd as a representative. We don't want to offer no black person as a representation if you died. Just deep what you're saying. Like, I'm angry, But I'm also trying to understand this woman's point of view, and because I know that when people are trying to do politics and when people are trying to achieve things, they do things that are inhumane, and they forget who they are because they have a goal in mind. That's when you know that I said to you that if you're not, when we don't focus on Christ, yeah, and we focus on our goals, this is what happens. You do anything to get ahead. Do you understand? And that's not disputing what the guy's done, but they never listen. It doesn't deserve for him to be killed. It doesn't deserve for him to be chokehold for 8 minutes with a knee on his neck. Okay? Eric Garner didn't deserve to be killed the way he did. Do you understand? There have been many people who have been made martyrs. Don't do it, Candace. Do not do it, Candace. We're not about it. We're not about it. And we have to hold you to account. I keep saying this.
See the person describing somebody who is out of their mind high, and which is what made the person fearful, because he tried to, use a bill that I guess was a fake bill to purchase something.
Talk about the fact that George Floyd was high. The report said that obviously he was not in his right mind. That he was acting weird, and everything like that. So basically what she's saying, I want you to break down psychology. When someone starts to, this is what white people have been doing this for a long time. What they do is they feed us a narrative that the person is gangster, thug, gangster. Because why? In the media sphere, what they've done is equated the fact that someone's a gangster, someone's a druggie, they are living a certain lifestyle that will get them killed, right? Because in the natural sphere of things, a gangster has more opportunity of getting killed. Absolutely, they're gangbanging. So when you label someone a gangster, a thug, a criminal, what it says is that it's good justice to kill that person. So what she's doing here is what white people do to us all the time, defaming the character so it makes it acceptable to lay someone down like a dog. Right? And many men do this as well. Black men, white men, all this, but especially I'm going to talk about black men too. We do this what we call women bitches and hoes. We call them that so we can dehumanize them, so that we can make our behavior of cheating on women, sleeping with many women, lying to women acceptable. Yeah? When we load a language in a certain manner and a certain way, what we're trying to do is create an atmosphere for a certain behavior to happen. Why do you think Trump labels certain people as thugs and some people as desperate protesters? It's to load the language to cause there to be an acceptance of a certain behavior. If I label you a thug and a criminal, you won't mind hating on me, right? You won't mind hating on that person because you think that they deserve it because of what they've done. And this is why the gospel is so powerful, because the gospel tells us, listen, none of you are good. The Bible says that no one seeketh after God. None of you. The rich man said to Jesus, how do I get into heaven? Jesus said, listen, let me tell you something. Go and sell everything you have. And the rich man said, damn, that's a little bit tight. I ain't going to lie to you, cuz. I've done everything I need to do. And Jesus said to him, listen, no man is good except God. Don't ever think in your life, Candace, that you think that you're not a second away from being snatched up just like any other black person. Don't think that there was not a DA driving her car, okay? And it was driving her car and getting stopped by police. Don't think that you have autonomy or think that you have control over the narrative when you don't own white privilege. White privilege owns you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't make it as if your education has elevated you out of your blackness, please. Don't. Because the world hasn't not stopped seeing you as a race. The world has stopped seeing you as ethnicity, but they see you as race. Okay? Simple as.
With his name on it, okay? So here we have, first and foremost, let's start from the bottom of his record. And by the way, I am not saying that if you have a record, you don't deserve a second chance. I think people get arrested.
It looks like she's very unforgiving. Because she goes to that, I wouldn't mind, but it's like it's a second time, third time, fourth time, whatever, etc., etc. Again, making an excuse as to why it's okay that it sounds like it's almost okay for us to kill him. Like, this martyrdom makes no sense because he's not a martyr. You understand? All it is, he's the focal point as to the reason why we are angry again about unlawful killings. Where's the martyr thing? Who's a martyr? We always we send well wishes to everybody. Don't ever get it twisted. There are gangsters in life and they get well wishes. Mugabe got well wishes when he went. Please don't ever in your life, listen, don't ever in your life confuse a thing and think that because you have not been convicted of a criminal offense, that you're not seconds away from there. At any moment, anything could happen to you. Don't ever make yourself to be on a high horse as if you are better. You are on the same level as everybody else. Calm down. because it could be you.
And some people can serve time in prison, and I believe in second chances, but I do draw the line when it comes to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth chance.
Humility is a beautiful thing. She said obviously racial police brutality is a myth. And you know what? It's funny because that is such a political term.
By the way, police brutality, racially motivated police brutality is a myth. Okay, so let's get into that. Now,
that's such a political activist term. You're trying to lobby, babe. You're trying to lobby. Just be honest. You're trying to lobby. Yeah, you're not interested in the George Floyd case. You're just using it as a way to lobby. Come on, let's be honest. You're trying to catch some votes because this ain't getting a black vote, so we really know. So you're trying to catch some votes. Let's be honest. All right. She says obviously, that it doesn't exist. She said, obviously, what about the David the sheriff was killed? And I was like, so it's interesting that you use the David the sheriff was killed because he's an upstanding citizen. But what difference does it make? You see, this is why the Bible is so important and powerful. Because once we put everybody against the law, nobody's good. Nobody's an upstanding citizen. He's an upstanding citizen. Why? Because he was a cop. Because he was guarding the property. We don't know what he was doing in his spare time. We don't know what secret sins he had. We don't know. But you call him an upstanding citizen due to the fact that obviously it fits your narrative. This is why I love Jesus, because he makes the equalizer, which is nobody's good. Nobody. Everybody's falling short of the glory of God. She made some quotes about
racially motivated police brutality is a real thing. First and foremost, okay, you have a 25% higher chance as a violent white criminal of dying at the hands of a police officer.
There's 25% more chance of a violent white person being killed by a police officer. Well, they are 6 times more than us, or even more than that. So, of course, they should have greater numbers than us. Of course. So obviously, total of 9 were killed by police officers, 19 white men were killed by police officers, those that were violent. And I'm like, babe, there are 6 times more than us. So times 9 by 6 and see what you get. The figure is disproportionate. Don't ever in your life do that, babe.
That doctors accidentally kill 250,000 people every year because of mistakes. Did you know there's been doctors that have been arrested for being serial killers?
She then loaded up mixing. I was saying, obviously, do you know how mad it is that basically she was saying about the conflating a doctor. Obviously, doctors get things wrong and kill people, and I'm like, no, and doctors don't get cussed. Darling, do you know a doctor's job? It can be life and death, literally, and one mistake can take that person to death. It's a very different job to a police officer. You understand? Though I understand the dangers are there, it's a completely different job. When a young kid was getting killed with a gun in his hand, with a little toy gun in his hand, tell me, how you comparing that to a doctor? A doctor who has a job of saving patients' lives every day, has a job.
Avoid not being brutalized by a police officer is to limit the amount of encounters you need to have with them, especially when it comes to violent crime.
She said, obviously, you know what? Do you know how to not be basically not be in the same position as George Floyd? It's to limit the amount of encounters you have with them, with the police. And I'm asking myself, how do we do that when we can be in our home and they can invade our home? How do we do that when we're just driving along the road doing our own stuff and they pick us up? How do we do that when we're just living our life freely and they think they're gonna bag you?
Our biggest problem is us, okay? It's why we don't talk about it when black on black crime happens.
She goes on to say, obviously, that, you know what, the black community basically is embarrassing. Nobody wants to tell the truth. So easy to bow down and get white people to bow down for us. And she said the problem is that black on black crime. Wait, babe, are you buying into black on black crime? Really? Darling, why don't you call it white on white crime?
You ever look at the comments? You ever go into like an anonymous blog and see what people say? Oh, just black people being black people. I see those racist comments. Oh, just black people got to riot. Black people got to be black people. You know how they are.
Obviously, some of the things that people say about black people, race, and some of them are these racist comments. What if they're racist, darling? Why are you listening to the comment about what they say about black people? They're racist. Of course, the comment's going to be off. Why would I want someone who's racist to comment good stuff? I would want them to. Saying is that racists are not going to do that. I'm not expecting them to. They're racist. Do you understand? Like, you can't use that as a basis as to why about the situation. Guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the what? Uploads, baby. For those of you returnees, you ain't got the minerals, baby. you got the minerals, baby. I appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded, more love.